Chapter 1, Waking Up Early. My name is Sarah, and I am a medical student. My life is very busy, filled with long hours of studying, classes, and practice. There is always a lot to learn, and sometimes it feels like there is never enough time. Because of this, I choose to wake up early every morning. The quiet hours before the day begins help me study better and organize my time for the day ahead. Waking up early is not always easy, especially when I feel tired from studying late at night. But I know that starting the day early helps me think more clearly and feel less stressed later. These early mornings give me space to focus on myself before my responsibilities begin, and this routine has become an important part of my life as a medical student. I usually wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes a little earlier, and this has been my normal routine for a long time. When the alarm clock rings, it does not surprise me anymore. And most days, I am already half awake before I hear the sound. I reach out, turn off the alarm, and sit up slowly in bed, feeling the quiet of the room around me. At this hour, everything feels calm, as if the world is still resting, and I like being awake during this peaceful moment. The air in my room is cool, especially in the early morning, and when my feet touch the floor, I can feel a little cold, which helps my body wake up more fully. I blink a few times and take a deep breath, letting my mind catch up with my body. To be honest, I do not jump out of bed with energy every single day, but I never feel angry about waking up early because my body understands this routine and accepts it naturally. Sometimes when I stand up, I stretch my back slowly and yawn a little, and I smile to myself because even good habits can still feel human. Waking up early does not mean becoming a perfect person, and it does not make every morning easy. It simply means choosing to begin the day in a quiet and clear way, with enough time to move slowly and think calmly. I walk toward the window and pull the curtain slightly to look outside. The sky is light but not bright, and the sun has not appeared yet. One streetlight is still on, and the road below looks empty and peaceful. There are no cars, no loud voices, and no hurry, only soft light and still air. At this moment, I often think that time feels slower in the early morning, and this makes me feel calm and patient. You may wonder why I enjoy this time so much, and the answer is simple. In the early morning, nothing asks for my attention yet. No messages, no calls, no expectations. I do not need to answer to anyone, and I do not need to rush anywhere. This time belongs only to me, and that feeling is very valuable. After standing by the window for a short while, I turn back and make my bed carefully, pulling the blanket straight and placing the pillow in its usual place. This small action may not seem important, but it helps me feel organized and settled. I believe that when you start your day by finishing a small task, your mind becomes clearer and more confident without you even noticing it. I then walk into the bathroom and turn on the light, which feels much brighter than the soft light in my room. I look at myself in the mirror and see a calm face, not rushed and not tired. I brush my teeth slowly and wash my face with cool water. And although the water feels cold at first, it quickly wakes me up and clears my mind. I enjoy this feeling because it reminds me that the day has truly begun. While drying my face with a towel, I sometimes pause for a moment and think about how different my mornings used to be. I remember waking up late, feeling rushed, and starting the day with stress. That is why I value this quiet beginning so much now. It did not change my life in one day, but little by little, it changed how I feel about my time. After leaving the bathroom, I return to my room and sit down on a chair near the window, where I spend a few minutes in silence. I sit straight, place my hands on my legs, and close my eyes, breathing slowly and deeply. I do not try to stop my thoughts completely, but I let them slow down, like clouds moving gently across the sky. This short moment of stillness is like a small conversation between me and myself. I do not ask big questions, and I do not make big promises. I simply remind myself that I have time and that I can move through the day step by step. I think this is something many people forget, and maybe you do too sometimes. When I open my eyes again, the room feels brighter and my mind feels lighter. I know the day will soon become busy, and there will be work, study, and responsibilities waiting for me. But because I started my morning this way, I feel ready, calm, and steady. This is how my day begins, not with noise or hurry, but with quiet moments that slowly prepare me for everything that comes next. Chapter 2: Morning Exercise. After I finish my short meditation, I do not sit down to study or work right away. I know from experience that my mind may feel clear, but my body is still half asleep. So before asking my brain to focus, I choose to wake up my body first. I change into comfortable clothes and stand quietly in my room for a moment, letting myself feel the cool air on my skin. This small pause helps me shift from stillness into movement. Morning exercise has become a natural part of my routine, not because I want to be strong or athletic, but because it helps me feel present. I do not think of it as training or pushing myself. I think of it as a gentle conversation with my body, asking it how it feels and listening to the answer. I usually begin with simple stretches. I raise my arms slowly, stretch my shoulders, and roll my neck from side to side. At first, my body feels a little stiff, especially in my back and legs. This stiffness reminds me that I was lying still for many hours and that waking up takes time. I do not force anything. I move slowly, breathing in deeply and breathing out fully, allowing my muscles to loosen at their own pace. As I stretch, I start to feel warmth spreading through my body. My breathing becomes smoother, and my movements feel easier. There is something comforting about this process. It reminds me that progress does not have to be fast to be real. Sometimes Simply showing up and moving a little is enough. After stretching, I do a few light exercises like squats and push-ups. Some mornings I feel strong and energetic. Other mornings, my body feels heavy and slow. I accept both. What matters to me is not how much I do, but that I move with awareness. My heart begins to beat faster. My body feels more awake. And I can feel energy slowly building inside me. There are moments during exercise when my mind tries to wander. I might think about work, deadlines, or things I need to do later. When that happens, I gently bring my attention back to my breathing or my movement. I remind myself that this time is not about solving problems. It is simply about being here, in this moment, inside my body. On some mornings, especially when the weather is pleasant, I step outside for a short walk. The street is quiet, and the world feels softer than it does later in the day. The air is fresh, and the sky is slowly changing colors. I walk without hurry, listening to my footsteps and feeling the ground beneath me. These walks are simple, but they help me feel connected, not only to my body, but also to the world around me. While walking, I sometimes think about how different my mornings used to be. I remember days when I skipped movement completely, rushed out of bed, and spent the whole day feeling tired and tense. Back then, I thought exercise was something extra, something optional. Now I understand that moving my body in the morning is not a waste of time. It is an investment in how I will feel for the rest of the day. When I finish my exercise, I stand still for a moment and notice the change. My body feels warm and alive, and my breathing is steady. There is a quiet sense of satisfaction, not excitement, but calm confidence. I feel more awake, more grounded, and more ready to sit down and focus. Morning exercise may look simple from the outside, but for me, it plays an important role. It helps my body and mind meet each other before the day begins. Because I take this time to move gently and listen to myself, I feel more balanced later when I study, work, and face responsibilities. This is not about discipline or self-control. It is about starting the day with respect for my own body and energy. Chapter 3: Making Coffee. After finishing my morning exercise, I go to the kitchen to make coffee, which is one of my favorite parts of the day. At this time, the kitchen is still quiet, and the house feels calm and peaceful. I enjoy being alone in the morning because it allows me to move slowly and focus on simple things without any pressure. Making coffee is not just about drinking something warm, but also about enjoying a small and familiar habit that helps me feel ready for the day. First, I take my favorite cup from the shelf and place it on the table, and then I fill the kettle with water and turn on the stove. While I wait for the water to heat up, I stand near the window and look outside at the quiet street. The sky is brighter than before, but the day has not fully started yet, and there are still very few people around. This peaceful view makes me feel relaxed, and it reminds me that I still have time before the world becomes busy. When the water is ready, I slowly pour it into the cup and add the coffee. Then stir it gently with a spoon. Soon the warm smell of coffee fills the kitchen, and this smell always makes me feel awake and comfortable. I like to take a moment to enjoy this smell because it helps me slow down and enjoy the present moment. This small action may seem simple, but it makes my morning feel special and complete. I sit down at the table and drink my coffee slowly, taking small sips and not rushing at all. While drinking, I let my mind stay calm, and I do not check my phone or think about work yet. I focus on the taste of the coffee and the quiet feeling of the morning, because I know that later in the day, I will have many things to do and think about. This quiet time helps me feel balanced and prepared. By the time I finish my coffee, my body feels warm and awake, and my mind feels clear and focused. This simple coffee habit gives me energy and comfort, and it helps me move smoothly into the next part of my morning. With a calm body and a clear mind, I am ready to sit down and begin my study and work, knowing that I have started my day in a peaceful and controlled way. Chapter 4: Studying and Planning the Day. After I finish my coffee, I feel calm, awake, and ready to use my time well. So I go to my desk and sit down to study. This is one of the most important parts of my morning routine, because my mind is very clear at this time, and there are no distractions around me. The house is still quiet, and my phone is not ringing, so I can focus easily on what I need to learn. I like studying in the early morning because everything feels simple and organized. I usually start with reading because it helps my mind warm up slowly and gently. Sometimes I read a book, and sometimes I read my English notes, depending on what I want to improve. I read carefully and take my time because I want to understand, not rush. When I find a new word or an important idea, I write it down in my notebook, and this helps me remember it better. Writing while studying makes me feel active and focused. As I study, I feel comfortable and confident because I know this quiet morning time belongs only to me. I am not worried about homework, tests, or work yet, and I am not thinking about other people. I only think about learning and improving myself step by step. This makes studying feel easier and more enjoyable, even when the topic is not very exciting. After studying for a while, I take a short break and start planning my day. I open my notebook and write down the things I need to do, such as studying more, working, or finishing small tasks. I do not write too many things because I want my plan to be clear and realistic. Planning my day in the morning helps me feel organized and in control, and it also helps me use my time better. When I finish my plan, I look at it once more and feel ready for the day ahead. I know what I need to do, and I know when I will do it, so I do not feel nervous or stressed. Studying and planning in the early morning gives me a strong and calm start, and it helps me move into the rest of the day with confidence and purpose. Chapter 5: Getting Ready to Leave the House. After I finish studying and planning my day, I begin to get ready to leave the house. And at this time, the morning feels brighter and more active. The sunlight comes into my room through the window, and the quiet early hours slowly turn into a normal morning. I feel prepared and calm because I have already used my time well, and I know what I need to do next. I start by choosing my clothes and getting dressed carefully because I want to feel comfortable and confident throughout the day. I do not rush, and I pay attention to small things, such as making sure my clothes are clean and neat. When I dress neatly, I feel more organized and ready, and this helps me start my work or school day in a good way. After that, I check my bag and make sure I have everything I need, such as my notebook, my books, and other important items. I like to prepare these things in the morning because it helps me feel safe and in control. When everything is ready, I feel relaxed, and I do not worry about forgetting something later. Before leaving my room, I take a short moment to look around and make sure everything is in order. The bed is made, the desk is clean, and the room feels calm and tidy. This simple habit gives me a sense of satisfaction because I know I am leaving my space in a good condition. Finally, I put on my shoes and get ready to leave the house. As I open the door and step outside, I feel confident and positive about the day ahead. Because I wake up early and follow my morning routine, I feel prepared not only in my body, but also in my mind. With a clear plan and a calm heart, I am ready to face the day and do my best. Chapter 6. Reflection. Why this routine works for me. When I look back at my morning routine, I understand why it works so well for me and why I choose to follow it every day. Waking up early, exercising, making coffee, studying, and preparing for the day may seem simple, but together they create a strong and positive start. I do not feel forced to do these things because they have become natural habits that help me feel calm, focused, and confident. This routine works for me because it gives me time before the day becomes busy and noisy. In the early morning, there are fewer distractions, and I do not need to react to other people or many problems. I can think clearly and move at my own pace, which helps me feel in control of my life. When I start my day this way, I feel less stressed and more prepared for whatever comes later. Another reason this routine works is that it balances my body and my mind. Morning exercise helps my body feel strong and full of energy, while meditation and quiet moments help my mind stay calm and clear. When my body and mind work together, I can study better, work better, and make better decisions during the day. This balance is very important to me, especially when I have many responsibilities. I also like this routine because it helps me build discipline in a gentle way. I do not wake up early to punish myself, but to give myself more time and space. Each small habit, such as making my bed or planning my day, teaches me to be organized and responsible. Over time, these small habits help me become a better and more reliable person. Most importantly, this morning routine helps me start each day with a positive feeling. I feel ready, confident, and clear about my goals, even if the day will be long or difficult. Because I take care of myself in the morning, I can face challenges more calmly and patiently. This is why I continue to wake up early and follow my routine, not because it is difficult or special, but because it helps me live a better and more meaningful daily life.